Hello everybody and welcome back. So continuing to the FRR-33 project, I'm approaching on this device which actually does not belong to the FRR-33 station. By the way, the station that I have in the rack leaves this one that it seems to be an add-on device. There is no information available even in the net. We just see that it has been manufactured by Northern Radio Company in New York. And it is a diversity converter. So since we don't have any written information, we just need to take assumptions by just looking at it. And what I'm seeing here is a dual channel device that is the diversity receiving station aimed of. And we have the monitor selector that I believe is to monitor the audio level that is coming into the converter itself. We have a scope here that for sure is for regulate the shifting by mark and space in order to have a correct decoding. We have also the scope regulation. We also have here something that is very interesting and useful for teletype receiving. This seems to be a current loop supply, and we have a milliamperes meter that should leave around 60 milliamps. This is the current regulation, and this is the sense, which is the negative or positive going pulses that are coming out from the decoder itself. And here we have the way that it converts. If it's just with channel 1 output, channel 2, or diversity, which is the, let's say, sum of the two channels. Actually, it's a bit different and more complicated. It automatically select the best level and quality signal and use that as a reference to convert and send the output to the teletype. So we don't have any other information. I will flip it over and give a look in the rear side as well as onto the top. This is the rear side. We have this kind of knurled bolts that are, one is broken in and another one over there as well. So this must be machined new. Is also broken the toggle of this switch. So the lever is broken. However, seems everything, it's a bit bent here, the frame, but not so bad. Here we have the rear terminal, which it comprises the two channel inputs and the teletype output. We also have some other regulation as limiters and WT, I don't know what that means, and ADC as well. Fuse and several binding posts which I believe are for testing purpose, but I don't have any clue about that. Clearly we have a lot of vacuum tubes. These are described as frequency determining network, which I believe is a sort of filter. We have two of those, same type. Let me increase the height here. which is type 174ZS, which seems to be a special network we will see later on. Here we have the scope shield, two separate transformer. Those transformers are adjustable in 110 and 220 volts, so should be easy to switch the voltage line. This is the input cord. The power cord comes here, and I have the original one, which is right here with the original socket. I also have the original wiring of the station that lives there. So should be not so bad the connection. By the way, this equipment it's off since very long time. So we need to open the back, I mean the bottom, and see how it's inside, the quality of the components, if there is anything of obvious, and then we will go from there and see if we can power it up slowly and if we will be able to bring back to life. And this is, by the way, an overview of the top of the converter, which is as those kind of equipment extremely professionally manufactured and assembled. It's perfect. So let's open the bottom side and see how it looks like. Okay, I've removed the bottom screws. Two of those are missing, and this is how it's inside. And that seems to be an electrolytic capacitor. So let me zoom in. Yeah, that for sure has leaked a lot. And we also have here another one. Let me zoom out. Yeah, over there. This is not so pretty, but maybe still usable. And I also see other two capacitors over there, the same type of that, but different in dimension, so I suppose different capacity. However, the rest seems okay. Here we have other two actually capacitors. Yeah, these are paper and oil capacitors, which they rarely fails, but we never know. So I think that in this device we have some work to do. There are some mechanical repairs. There is this switch that is damaged, and yeah, I think I need to work on those capacitors one by one and see how they will, the result of their test. 0.1 microfarad, 600 volt, and completely leaked. Yeah. Well, I have plugged it to the variac. I have replaced the damaged capacitor with an equivalent, and I'm monitoring the voltage across two capacitors randomly. Don't have any clue if there will be some voltage over there. And there are 3 6x4 rectifiers and one 0B2 voltage regulator, as for sure this will be the reference for the voltage regulation. And most likely this potentiometer will be the voltage regulation. So perhaps I may want to check here. in this binding post. So let's flip it over. I actually do not understand, did not yet understood what kind of main switch is now. Seems that the main voltage is adjusted by moving these jumpers, but I have not yet checked which is the actual setting now. But I will just crank the voltage up and see what it does. And by the way, this is the replacement. So let's rise up a bit more. I'm at 35. So I will rise up slowly and I'll be back as soon as I will have some live sign, if any. By the way, I have already performed the basic checks like fuse, the rate, if it's okay, and it does. And with the ohmmeter, if the primary section of the transformers have continuities, and they have, so everything looks okay. Oh, by the way, I have the power switch off, so need to go back. Okay, the power switch now is on, and yeah, I now already have seen some live sign at 30 volt AC. We are seeing some live sign. Clearly the power switch in the on position helps a lot. So I will go ahead with the rising, very slow rising in voltage, and I will check how it will perform, and I'll be back. As you can see here, we have negative voltage, which is weird, but it is 0.7 volt, and I'm at almost 40 volts. So I will rise up a bit more. It seems that it's going the negative direction. Don't know if it is supposed to be like that. As you may see, the pilot lamp is very dim. So I suppose that this unit, since I'm at over 50 volt AC, it's already set for 230 volts. So that's for sure. Yeah, it's changing here the direction, and it went to the positive. So it means that the filaments are warming up, and we are having some DC voltage, which is right the B+. So let's make the capacitor reform by themselves and rise up slowly. Unfortunately, I don't have any schematic, so I can only try as it is, with the exception of this that was obviously leaking. Over there are nasty signs, but actually it's the rubber that is around the capacitor itself that is degrading, so no problem with the capacitors. I am at 70 volts, and I already have seen a very tiny and dim green point spot onto the CRT right there. So it seems that it's coming back to life. And by the way, we have 6 volt onto the B+. Okay, I'm having something that I don't like really. So just for safety, I am checking the primary of one of the 2 transformers, and I should read 110 volts when I'm at the exact mains, which is about there, which is about 220 volts AC. So that is perfectly fine. However, if I go to measure the voltages, I'm measuring here at this capacitor 635 volts. So this is rated at 600 volts. Seems that it might be that we have a problem and this voltage is too high, and I have already removed this resistor in order to check that, and it's perfect as well as this. However, might be that this is just underrated and it's becoming warm. So I think that the voltage is exceeding the rating and I need to replace with something with higher voltage. Well, again, for testing purposes, I have tacked a series of two capacitors since I don't have any 1 kilovolt capacitor in my hand. So that is fine now, and I'm feeding some signal. I already have tested channel 2 and channel 1. Channel 1 are both behaving the same, so I'm having some activity. I'm just feeding 2 kilohertz at 500 millivolt. And it seems that we have some live sign, so perhaps the unit is working now. Moreover, I have just tacked one resistor, one 2K resistor over there, and if I raise up, I have my loop voltage that is rising up. So it seems that we actually are seeing some live activities, so I think we can now connect to the receiver itself and see what it does. Okay, I have connected the 391 and I'm receiving the teletype signal, the weather forecast. By the way, the shape of the waves that I'm seeing on the scope, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. However, my meter here is deflecting as well as the loop. So I think at this point we should see something happen onto a teletype. However, my teletype is in need of a lot of TLC, so I think that in the next video I will take care of that. So hopefully we will have some improvement in the shape of the waves in the scope, and perhaps we will be able to make some printing onto the teletype, which by the way is the model 15 of teletype. Okay, talking about the kind of signal that we are receiving, might be that will not match the characteristics of the teletype, and might be that my teletype will not be able to print this kind of signal, which by the way is 50 baud per minute, and not sure if my teletype will be able to print with that rate. However, since I wanna go directly to that task, I will stop the video at this point and I will skip the final mechanical repair on this, as well as the shape of the waves there that I really don't know. I suppose that should be a ring that was flipping horizontally and vertically. I could be wrong. Moreover, if anybody of you have any kind of information about this device, which seems to be pretty rare and uncovered, at least what we can find on the net, for sure, being a military device, will be at that time, back in those days, there was for sure all the kind of manual for maintain and use this device. So if anybody of you have any information about it, I will really appreciate some help. So I will stop the video right now, and I'll be back soon with the start of Teletype project. So see you soon.